Okay, Thursdays is Tactics Day on the channel, and today we're going with a classic. Well, I've never done one before actually, so it is Jurgen Klopp's 4-3-3, but a little twist on it. I've really enjoyed watching Mane play as the central striker, so there's going to be no false nines today because I don't think Mane plays that role. I've also, when I've done the simulation at the end of the season, I've left everybody out apart from Mane, so I've made sure Mane has played all of his games at centre forward. Let's dive into it. Tactic links down in the description. As per usual, sends you over to the good guys at FM Scout. 2 links there, Steam and then general download. Smash a like on today's video for me. I am not coming to the end of ideas. I've got plenty. I think next week's video is going to be Jose Mourinho's 3-4-1-2, which will be pretty good. But apart from that, I'm always open to comments. Put them down in the description what team you would like me to cover on a Thursday, which iconic tactic, or just a tactic style in general. Let me know down in the description. All right, guys, let's get into today's iconic tactics. Today, we're going to play like Jurgen Klopp. Okay, everybody, here we are. So it's obviously a standard 4-3-3. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the tactic down. I'll go through some player roles, a few player position changes in terms of their player instructions. We'll then go through the tactical styles in possession, out of possession, transition, etc. We'll then take a little look at a few little highlights from a couple of games we've already played. I think we've played 2 games. And then what I've done is I've simulated to the end of the season. I will show you the results. Obviously, Liverpool are quite overpowered in the game, but we have managed to get 100 points with this tactic without me really touching it, as I said, apart from having Mane up front. Okay, so the team, I think at the moment, for me, it kind of picks itself, and a lot of players come in and do very, very similar jobs. So we're maybe looking at, is it Kanate or Matip, Henderson or Keita? Keita's actually done pretty well this season and seems to have improved a little bit. I have gone for Henderson. I am a big fan of Jordan Henderson. So we've gone with Jordan Henderson in the midfield as I've sort of like set this tactic up. Okay, so we'll start in goal, sweeper, keeper, Alisson. I've just put it on support because I do think sometimes the sweeper keeper attack is a little bit too erratic with the passing. So we've just put him on support, no instructions. Trent Alexander-Arnold is an interesting one. I've kind of rotated between inverted wing-back and complete wing-back. I think there's an argument for both. I think over the course of this season in particular, he's become more of an inverted wing-back because you see him getting in these sort of like half-back spaces where he's picking out switches and he's also going on underlaps. So we've got him as that. If you're building a squad that is not Liverpool, what you want to put in the tactic, a complete wing-back on attack would do kind of a similar role because obviously on complete wing-back on attack, you've got roam from position. But to keep it in line with this season's Liverpool, we've got with Trent as an inverted wing-back. Trent as an inverted wing-back. Okay, centre-halves, the Kanate, the Matip role, just central defender on defend. Virgil, ball-playing defender on defend. And then Andy Robertson, wing-back on support. I think there's an idea for maybe full-back on attack. Maybe not wing-back on attack. He does get around overlaps. I think wing-back on support is perfect for him. Fabinho, I've just gone with... I didn't think a deep-line playmaker because I didn't want the play to get slowed down. Maybe not so much as just a ball-winning midfielder. He's a little bit more than that. So we've just gone for a defensive midfielder on defend. I didn't want to do half-back either because Liverpool generally don't build up with a back 3 in terms of Fabinho joining. A lot of teams used to do it. Man United under Matic, and obviously if you use a halfback, that halfback drops in, spreads your sort of like your centre halves out. We don't kind of get that level with Liverpool, so I've used a defensive midfielder on defend. Central midfield, this is where I think you can be a little bit creative. Henderson in particular, when he plays, he often plays on the right-hand side of the 3, and then what he does do is gets into these wider areas, linking up, making triangles with Alexander-Arnold and Salah. He'll often come out wide, and that gives Salah then the option to move in. We've got a couple of clips to show you of that. So he's box-to-box midfielder, but with run wide with the ball, stay wider, and tackle harder. So obviously their instructions when the team has the ball. So when he's got it, when the team's in possession, he will come out into these Mazzalas. There's an argument that it could be a Mazzala, but I think with the box-to-box midfield, you just get that defensive aspect a little bit more than the Mazzala. And obviously Jordan Henderson is very good for the team in terms of trigger pressing, working hard, marking tighter, tackling harder. So I think that probably suits Jordan Henderson just with those additional player instructions. And then Thiago on the left, I just got a roaming playmaker. I didn't want a deep lying playmaker because I don't want him coming to here all the time. And I just thought he's literally now the heartbeat of the team where he gets and gives. He gets into little areas sort of like around the penalty box. He gets into these areas here where he's sort of now down near the corner flag, trying to work passes into the box. So I've gone for roaming playmaker, and so far he's looked really, really good. On the left-hand side, I think this can be fluent. Obviously, Mane does play a lot out there, but for me at the moment, their best three is Diaz, Mane and Salah. And I think Mane now, he's getting to the age of, what is he, about 30? Yeah, he's 30 now, so he's getting to the age of maybe, is he going to be an outside forward for long? Is he then going to sort of like mould his role into more of a striker, maybe a poacher? So I've put him in as a centre forward, and I think at the moment for Liverpool, that's their best front three. Diaz has obviously come in, done really well. I've just got him as an inverted winger on support, no instructions. Salah inside forward on attack with the personal player instruction of shoot more often. All right? Very important, I think, for Salah. We want him cutting in, and we do want him hitting plenty of efforts from in around sort of like the 18-yard box. And then up front, we've got Mane. Now, interesting though, let me know your thoughts. What role would you have for Mane down there? I've gone for pressing forward because I started with a deep line forward, and I did one game in pre-season. I just thought the movements were right. You know, a deep line forward likes to roam around the pitch, and he's not very dynamic. I think the pressing forward on attack is a little bit more dynamic with the thing of dribbling more and shooting often, roaming from position as well. He will often drift out. Diaz will come in. Obviously, Salah will come in. So I've got those three instructions on. Dribble more, shoot more often, roam from position. As I said, false nine doesn't work because it doesn't let you dribble more. And also you don't get in that real trigger press. So I think Mane up there is so good for the team. Pressing forward on attack, dribble more, shoot more often, roam from position. Okay, they are the instructions. Now, if we look across the tactical styles and stuff, first of all, the mentality. Now, I'm trying to recreate, you know, if you look at Liverpool's possession numbers, their possession numbers are obviously one of the highest in the league. I think there's probably only Manchester City that beat them for possession numbers this season. However, they do it in a very different way to Manchester City. Manchester City keep the ball, play in tight areas, little rotations. Whereas Liverpool, I think their possession comes from just relentless pressing, not in letting the team out and getting the ball back quickly. So that's why I've gone attacking. Now, if you want to try and replicate the passing numbers, as in the percentage numbers in terms of possession, you're going to have to probably lower it down. I've been beaten a fair few times on possession with this Liverpool style. However, I think at the moment it kind of recreates the attacking mentality, kind of recreates the press, the urgency, the directness of the game a little bit better. All right, so that's an option for you to tweak, but I think to make it look a bit more like a Jurgen Klopp side, it needs to be attacking in the match engine. In possession, we're playing out of defence, obviously Virgil van Dijk. Fullbacks, it's extremely good on the ball. Matip's, I think, is pretty good on the ball as well. So playing out from the back. We've got an overlap left in, just to try and encourage that a little bit more. We want to see, obviously, Diaz coming in, getting involved with Thiago, and then we want to see Robertson going around the outside. Maybe Thiago slipping passes in. So we're going for an overlap on the left, and then an underlap on the right. That's just to try and force them little movements. So you'll often see, when Salah's out wide, you'll often see, obviously, Trent going forward. You'll see Henderson going forward. If Henderson drifts out wide or Trent stays out wide, then Salah comes inside. So I'm just trying to encourage that underlap. I do think it's a little bit of an unused feature in the game. I think it's very, very good in FM22. Used it a lot in a lot of my saves. Go put it in. Give it a go. I haven't found that it slows the play down too much either. It's just to encourage that little run, them little sort of like diagonal passes, straight runs from midfielders or straight runs from sort of like Trent, and that sort of like little diagonal pass maybe in behind a fullback or something like that. Passing directness standard, once again, this isn't helping with the possession numbers. It does mean that you go longer a little bit more quicker, but it's kind of what Liverpool do. They're not renowned for just keeping the ball for the sake of it. It's can we get forward, can we create chances, can we get the ball into those wide areas, and can we get 1v1s out wide. So I think there's an argument to say you could knock it down. That will probably help your numbers, but it probably won't replicate what we want to see in the match engine in terms of putting the play out wide and being a little bit more aggressive with the attacking mentality. So it's up to you. Tempo higher. Obviously, I think back in the day when he first came in, especially at Dortmund, it would have been much higher. I just think now Liverpool have just been a little bit, since the title victory, they've just eased off a little bit in terms of the press, but higher tempo is no problem. Never time wasting. Mixed crosses into final thirds. I've just left that. I think it should probably, if I'm honest, on low crosses, but I haven't left any. But I haven't put that on. Play for set pieces. No, there's an argument as well for passing to space, but because you've got the runners going forward anyway, sometimes I find that passing to space just does it a little bit too much. But by all means, approach play. There's a big argument to say you could put that on. Dribbling, we don't need to do any dribble more. I've asked certain players to dribble more. Creative freedom as well. No need to put that on. In transition, obviously counter press and counter. It's a Gegenpress, isn't it? So obviously those two need to be on. Goalkeeper in possession, I've asked for distribute quickly. He gets the ball and he plays. Now, I haven't asked him to distribute anywhere because a lot of time it'll go out wide. It'll go to fullbacks. It'll go to centre half. It'll go obviously to the wide players who are maybe 1v1s or up against a striker, and they'll try and exploit an area that maybe an opposing fullback has left. So I've left that off. So that, and the same thing as well, distribution time. I've left that off as well, just so we can see a good variation in Alisson's distribution. Out of possession, an argument to say that it could be very high, but as I said, Liverpool just eased off just a touch. So we've gone higher, much higher defensive line, getting narrow when we can, forcing the play out wide. Use offside trap, I haven't put on, but you could put it on, no problem. Sometimes I think it can be a little bit of an overkill. So that's down to your personal preference, I suppose. Trigger press more often, prevent short distribution. Liverpool are really good at obviously either sometimes allowing the centre halves to get it, but ideally you want that goalkeeper to go long. When you've got Konate, when you've got Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip, that ball is generally going to be hoovered up by those two. So we're going to try and prevent that, try and get their goalkeeper to kick it long, and then we can get the ball down, get the possession back a little bit quicker. And that is it. All right, let me know your thoughts down below. What would you change? There's always, not arguments, but there's always ways you can change the tactic to kit out you think you can see in the game. But that's what I have done now. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little look at a few little action shots, a few little goals that we've scored early on in the season. And before we finish, I will show you how the team has performed in the season. All right, guys, let's go and have a look at a few little clips. Let's go. Okay, here we are. This was the first game of the season. We smashed Arsenal 4-0. And the first thing we're just going to show is a few little movements. Obviously, we get possession down. Now we're breaking. We're countering. One thing I want you to take a look at is these three. We've got Trent on the ball now. There's obviously Mo Salah and Jordan Henderson. Just look at Jordan Henderson's movement. He's obviously stayed out wide. We've got that thing to stay wide. So we've got an overload in here as a 3v2 as we're breaking forward. We then go backwards, but the tempo is pretty good. It's pretty quick. Shoots quickly, moving it across the pitch. Thiago's found a little bit of space. I think that's a really good thing, a roaming playmaker. A deep line playmaker would generally just find space, sort of like in between the midfield and the strikers, whereas this time he's broke the press of what maybe is the attacking midfielder, so he's found a brilliant little pocket. And then we're off again. There is Jordan Henderson. If we zoom out, there is Jordan Henderson. Salah is there. And Trent all in pretty wide areas down. So we're trying to get an overloading down this right-hand side. It comes this way, Salah. And then because we've got the underlap, watch the runs. So we've obviously got Henderson going for an underlap. I think Trent was trying to get there, but never actually got there. And in the end, the shot was blocked. But a brilliant little pattern. It's brilliant to see sometimes when you do a player instruction and then straight away you see it in the game. Okay, next goal. I think it was the second one. It ends up being an own goal, but I'm just looking at the position of Fabinho. So just there as a defensive midfielder, as I said, once again, if it's a half-back, they often drop in to make a back three, and I don't think that's realistic to how he plays. And he just gets into position. Now, I think what we've got is Arsenal have kind of been defending. They've got a little bit of a low block, so it just gives him time. But what he has done there is created a trigger press, and now they're out of shape a little bit. Odegaard's now changed. It's now to a 4-4-2 kind of shape, with the midfield with 1, 2, 3, 4 Arsenal players. And now we've got an overload in there. He keeps his position. He doesn't drop in to make a 3v2. He plays, he gets on the ball, look, and now he's got the opportunity to turn. Thiago getting into a lovely little half space. He's got the vision once again. I think if that's a deep line midfielder, he would be maybe 20 yards back and can't play that pass potentially. It's a wonderful pass. Jota coming off to the left wing. Salah would have been there maybe to tap home, but good old Rob Holding tapped it home for us. Once again, brilliant movement. I think the Fabinho role is vital. I'm really enjoying playing with a number 6 this season in FM. I've used a half-back a lot, but I'm starting to like the idea of a just defensive midfielder, something that Ten Hag kind of does at Manchester United, at Ajax, with Alvarez. He's not a mate, even though Fabinho is very good on the ball. Just someone in there, just sit, act as a single pivot rather than dropping in to make a back three constantly. And then this one is a not so much a counter, but I suppose it is. The way Salah, a little bit of magic. Obviously, we're trying to create 1v1s up here. We want Salah to get a 1v1. Now, you can't see him because my face is in the way, but he's right down in this. He's right down in this bottom corner for now. Okay, so we've played short this time. Variation. Quite a direct pass. I think if we had shorter passing on and positive, the ball maybe would have been kept. It would have maybe even gone back to the goalkeeper. It would have gone out to the other centre half, but we've gone forward quite early. Salah, wonderful turn, and it just feels like a goal Liverpool would score when Mane is up there. I don't know, it just feels, it's a lovely slide pass. Mane working off the shoulder, coming round sort of like the blind side of the defender and tapping it up. I just feel like that's a Liverpool goal. Referee, what are you doing? It did count, don't worry, it did count. But I just feel like that is a Liverpool goal. And then this one is just wonderful. We have a breakdown in play. And then we see Mane, we are asking him to roam from position. So what he does, he's gone quite high, look. He's actually in an offside position. Then in a matter of, 2 seconds, he's dropped off and giving himself 5 yards. And I can just, to be fair to Mane there's an argument that he could say he would probably turn and run rather than just clipping it in. But he clips a wonderful ball. Go on, Salah. Chase that. He does, but what a good striker does and what you would expect Mane to do is get in, balls into these areas. Teams like Liverpool, Man City are often trying to feed balls into, rather than just punting them in, looking for headers, finding people with their feet in the penalty box. That was the first game of the season, guys, and it all came together in 190 minutes. But as you can see, we dominated the game. XG of 2, 18 shots, 7 on target. Arsenal 9 with 2 on target. They had more possession. We only had 44% possession. So that's just the thing with this tactic. We're maybe not going to get... I'm struggling to get the match engine to replicate how Liverpool dominate the ball without necessarily doing the slow sort of like tiki-taka positional play that you maybe see Barcelona and Manchester United with Ten Hag and obviously Manchester City. Okay, those are the clips. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just speed on to the end of the season. I'll just show you how it looked at the end of the season. Okay, so here we are now. As you can see, Liverpool 100 points. 100 points. Salah, leading goal scorer. Martinelli scored 27. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Mane with 19. Now remember, we played Mane. What I did was, because of how you can simulate, I made sure that the team was blank, played the current tactic, but I did make sure that pick the team when necessary, and I put Sadio Mane in, so he always played as a centre forward, and that maybe reflects the number of assists. He's only got 4 assists of the season, but 19 Premier League goals isn't bad. Mohamed Salah, on the other hand, 27 league goals, 36 in all comps. We got the magic 100 points, which I know it's Liverpool, but when you're simulating a season and you're not taking care of maybe player rotation and what players they're picking and changes mid-game, it's done very, very well. Winning the league by 19 points. 91 goals scored, only 28 conceded. Champions League, we got knocked out by City. Winners of the FA Cup are knocked out of the Carabao by Brentford. And then down at the bottom, as you can see, probably the performance of the season is an 8-0 FA Cup final win over Aston Villa. There's a 7-0 in there as well. Manchester City, we had a bit of a stinker, really. 2-0 in the first leg away from home. And then in the second leg, 2-0, we scored. Whoa, they had 2 beds sent off, but they scored really on. 4-11 to kill the game. Virgil van Dijk getting a very, very late brace. But as you can see, loads of the other. Manchester City was one of the defeats on New Year's Day. 2 very late goals there, but 4-0. Southampton obviously was a little bit of a blip. But apart from that, we went unbeaten actually until the Southampton game in December. And then only lost 2 all season. All right, guys, that's it. Go and check it out. I think it's one of those tactics that will work tremendously well for you. But if you're struggling to find the real player positions and roles of what Klopp uses, there you go. You're welcome. Let me know how it gets on. Either put it in the comments or, by the way, join the Discord where you can send me messages. You can talk about FM football shirts like this. We're going Jose Mourinho today. Another European trophy for the special one. All right, guys. And as I said, next week it will be Roma's 3-4-1-2. So make sure you are subscribed. You've liked today's video. Yeah, that's it. We'll see you again. Cheers, guys. Take care. See you later. A big thank you to all the patrons on the channel listed on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your support. If you would like to support the channel just a little bit extra a month, go check out the link in the description, which heads you over to the Patreon site. And once again, a big thank you to all the boys on screen right now. Your support is absolutely tremendous. Keeps the lights on this channel. Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.